Before we get into the meat of this article, I just need to compare and contrast these old men who are just staring each other right in the eye. Okay, you got Bill Clinton right there on the left, and then you got Joe Biden on the right. There's a 4-year age gap here. Bill Clinton is 76 years old, and he was president back when I was still in diapers. Holy! Can you even believe that? And then I seen the title of this article, and it's like, wait, what are we even doing? Honk honk, baby, honk honk. Bill Clinton, 76, returns to the White House 22 years after the end of his term. It's been 22 years. Okay, 22 years, and joins Biden 80. The free world is being orchestrated by people that should be being pushed around in wheelchairs in places with wood paneling on the walls, with that off-white yellowish lino on the floor and drop T-bar ceilings. Oh my lord. But get this one. Okay, Joe Biden, if you know anything about his history and what he likes to do with interns in the halls of the Senate, and Bill Clinton, well, do we need to get into that history? Anyways, to back the need for women to get paid family leave. They're there to stand up for women's rights. When I think of champions for women's rights, the name Bill Clinton always comes front of mind. You can't make this stuff up. Holy. But it's been a rather transitory period. Not like that, but a time of change for old Uncle Joe, hasn't it been? He recently lost Ron Klain. Who is Ron Klain? Well, he was apparently, and we know he is. Well, he was the chief of staff for old Uncle Joe down there at the White House. He was in charge of everybody who was around there, but he decided to fall on the sword because he just couldn't. I couldn't find all of the documents, and I couldn't do right by you, Joe, and I'm going to fall on the sword so that the old man can just parse on. And being the fruit that he is, crying in public, he all but confirmed that good old Uncle Joe will be running again in 2024. I can't wait. I look forward to be by your side when you run for president in 2024. Bro, you're leaving right now, okay? You already know the wheels are falling off the wagon. Why would you think that you're going to be around in 2024? Tearful Ron Klain all but confirms Biden's re-election bid as he sobs during the Chief of Staff's farewell speech. Can you imagine? Departing White House Chief of Staff Ron Klain all but confirmed President Joe Biden's 2024 re-election campaign as he sobbed through a goodbye speech at the White House Wednesday evening, as it did in '88 when he had to bow out of the election the first time around, back when he was caught plagiarizing, in 2008 when he lost and ended up getting cucked by a black guy, not the first time, and in 2020 when, well, we can't get into the specifics there. I look forward to being at your side when you run for president 2024. Klain said during the East Room ceremony to mark his passing of the baton to incoming Chief of Staff Jeff Zentians. If you don't know who Jeff Zentz, yeah, it's probably Zentz. If you don't know who he is, he was the guy who was in charge of the COVID response under the Biden administration. You know, when they tried to backdoor in a vaccine mandate on everybody, when they were dropping mask mandates on everybody, which they're supposed to repeal here real soon. So because he did such a bang-up job in that field, now he can go be chief of staff. Failing upwards. It's not moving forward for the Democrat Party. Fail upwards. Klain had several emotional outbursts throughout the roughly 12 minutes. What is this, a Jordan Peterson speech? With Biden also spotted wiping away a tear. What is that, motor oil? In order to keep that old corpse upright. I will try to keep this brief, but I cannot promise you that there won't be some tears. Bro, you guys are collectively 109. I am underselling that so much. I thought by saying that somebody could be 109 years old, but collectively you guys are closer to 209 years old. Why are you crying? Oh, Klain, who started work. I don't need to read the rest of this. This is the best job I've ever had. It's the hardest job, and I'll miss this job. And I'll be back when Biden runs again in 2024. Why? Klain, who started working for Biden 36 years ago. That's another problem. Term limits for everybody in public office. And got emotional damage. There's probably something on that laptop that can also incriminate Klain. So I can understand being sad about, maybe spending your final days, your golden age, if you will, in Club Fed. Maybe you can get the Ghislaine Maxwell suite. I see that she's, fairly well treated. When discussing how many times in recent political history Biden had been counted out. Yeah, that's nice. Yo, he looks like that George Conway cat. Why do all of these creepy politicos just have, more chins than accomplishments? It's just so sad. Not like crying sad or anything like that. But yeah, who cares? He's the sacrificial lamb when it comes to the document discovery. And, oh, don't worry, guys. The FBI came in and searched Biden's compound. And, oh, we didn't find anything. Don't worry about it. Everything's great for Biden. It'll just, go up in a puff of smoke. Didn't you hear? There's supposed to be a State of the Union address real soon. That's far more important. Yuck. I just hope nobody notices this. Hunter's business partner moved 1,850 boxes of sensitive documents. Hunter's business partner. Wait a minute. Sensitive documents from then Vice President Joe Biden's White House office. Lawyers warned him about including Obama-Biden transition papers, which Joe likely did not own. 1,850 boxes moved by somebody who used to be in business with a crackhead had transition papers that Joe shouldn't have had in his possession. There's a lot of faults with this. Quite a few. The chain of custody is at least a little rusty. Hunter Biden's business partner was tasked with transferring sensitive papers from Joe Biden's vice presidential office to the University of Delaware, papers that were sensitive enough to require involvement of White House lawyers, Daily Mail can reveal. Her revelation is the latest piece of evidence tying Hunter to the president's potential mishandling of classified documents. No, don't worry, the FBI, who's always been forthright with quality information, told us that no, there's nothing wrong. His house was clean, don't worry about it. Eric Schwerwin, Hunter's Rosemont Seneca partner who handled Joe's taxes and personal affairs, was in charge of moving an archive of 1,850 boxes of files from the vice president's D.C. office that were being donated to the University of Delaware in 2010. Oh, are those some of the documents that he's not willing to declassify in order for people to take a look at? Some very interesting stuff that we're seeing here. Okay, there's all of the boxes, apparently. That's a lot of crap. Those documents, mainly from Biden's time as a Delaware senator, yeah, those 4 decades, also included Obama-Biden presidential transition papers and raised the hackles of White House lawyers. All right. In March of 2010, email from Hunter's laptop, Joe's deputy counsel, Catherine Oyama, wrote to Sherwin, warning the deed of gift document to the University appears to include Obama-Biden transition papers, which the vice president likely does not own. Oh, interesting. Oh, don't worry. I'm sure the National Archives, I'll just alert them and this will just all be fine. This would normally just be, oh, whoops, okay, I had some additional paperwork. Well, that's not, who cares? We'll just figure it out. We'll just take those out and we'll just send them back. But you're the ones who kicked down the doors at Mar-a-Lago and you tried to make this an issue. This is something that everybody accidentally does. Might not have even planned it. I'll just go ahead and give the benefit of the doubt to Uncle Joe in this case right here. Might not have known any of this stuff existed. But you had to be the one to go in and make this an issue regarding Trump because Orange Man is really bad. Well, guess what? Old hair-sniffing man, really, really bad. This is what happens when you're in public office for the better part of a century. You're going to likely have done some really bad, underhanded stuff. Might not have actually been anything that you wanted to do, but it's something that you ultimately did end up doing. She recommended the inclusion of language about the university's duty to comply with classified information procedures. Listen, we're just a university. We're just here to chronicle all of your so-called accomplishments. We don't want anything to do with classified documents. That's way above our pay grade. You guys deal with this. You sent them here, you deal with it. Sherwin forwarded the correspondence to Hunter saying, why would you go that? Oh, right. This is Sherwin, right? FYI. If you want to be in the loop, I sent a Mel who's going to talk to your dad about this and decide who should work on it between him and Jamie. Mel likely refers to attorney Melvin Monzak, who handled Hunter and Joe's brother, and Jim Biden's taxes and other Biden family affairs. Monzak also sent Hunter's emails directly about Joe's gift of sensitive papers to the University of Delaware in October of 2010. Interesting. According to the University of Delaware website, more than 1,850 boxes of archival records from the president's Senate career arrived at the library in June 6th of 2012. All right, and there's the email if you'd like to read that over, just some light reading before bed. A Newark Post report from the Times said the record arrived on 33 pallets carried by 2 trucks and also include 415 gigabytes of electronic records. What a treasure trove of information that would be. It is unclear whether the thousands of papers will be given to UDEL ended up including any classified documents. I would imagine, but is it likely? Oh, wow, when Ted Cruz actually called for it. Okay, you already called the shot before I thought of it. Republican Senator Ted Cruz called this week for the FBI to examine the boxes. Hey, listen, you already went through his house. Why not go down to Delaware? Why not just go down the road to the university there and check those boxes? I'm right now calling the Department of Justice for the FBI to examine all 1,850 boxes of those Senate records to see how many additional classified documents are in those records. My guess is you'd probably find a couple. Probably would. The answer should be none, but given Biden's pattern, with zero reason to have any confidence that there are multiple classified documents within those 1,850 boxes of Senate records, the senator claimed. Revelation follows a growing scandal over several classified documents found at Joe's home, where Hunter lived and claimed residence and ownership of. It's kind of a weird situation, but I already talked about that at length. In 2018 and 2019, at a Washington, D.C. private office, yes, a public think tank with the Penn Biden Center, strange naming convention, which Hunter helped set up, and a search at the president's Robeth Beach home. Republican Wisconsin Senator, that's a awkward way to phrase that, Ron Johnson, oh yeah, do love me some Ron Johnson, who led a 4-year investigation into Hunter with fellow Senator Chuck Your Asses Grassley, told Daily Mail government officials have failed to answer his questions about who had access to the classified files. Well, everybody, it's a public university. Very interesting. The more we find out about Joe, well, the more it all kind of makes sense, to be completely honest. He's been in public office forever. If he wasn't the one to start this fire in regards to Trump, just to get him back, nobody would care about any of this stuff. You had a couple of errant documents. We understand. It happens. You should tighten up that security, but we don't live in a world of in a world of shoulds. We live in a world of what is. And what is the case in this situation is somebody with a substandard IQ being a long-seated senator in Delaware. You got to be vice president, and then for some reason he got appointed to the presidency. And now he has to fess up to his crimes. Or he can just shirk them off, shrug them off, and mass media will just go ahead and run cover for it. I won't let that happen because I'll continue to report on this. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.